This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning and great to be with you. I'm Audrina Sinclair. Thank you for joining us. Dana is working on a special assignment this morning. Well, now at 9, after months of negotiating, a deal could be in the works for Chicago Public Schools and the Teachers Union. What we're learning from both sides about a possible agreement. We're following that closely. And an earthquake sends water, look at this, pouring from a rooftop pool out of this high rise. The damage left behind after a massive earthquake rocked Myanmar and Thailand. And here at home, a rainy and stormy start to our day, but things have really calmed down now. We're expecting more storms, though, for the weekend, so we're going to time that out for you as well. Meteorologist Laura Bannon here in the First Alert Weather Center now. At least today is shaping up to be better.
Yes, very nice. We got some sunshine out there. Temperatures really starting to crank up there. We're going to get to the 70s, near 80 degrees. But we're going to focus on the thunderstorms that we did have earlier this morning. Those have moved out. We still have a couple of stray thunderstorms still trailing across parts of the area, northern Cook County, and then another line that's well off toward the west that's now in the Rockford area. Not expecting that to produce any severe weather, but again, there may be a couple of showers still hanging around here this morning. Where we do find some thunderstorms out over the lake, just north and west of Evanston right now. That's moved out of Wheeling, but we do have some cloud to ground lightning in that direction. Nothing severe. 53 in the Loop. Take a look at this. Ottawa, 65 degrees. Warm air overspreads. We go to the mid-70s, upper 70s today. 76 degrees for a high. Some areas very close to 80 degrees. We'll talk more about that end of the weekend storm threat coming up here shortly.
All right, we'll see you soon, Laura. Thank you. Now we turn to your nonstop news, where CPS says they are still negotiating with teachers hours after Mayor Brandon Johnson said a deal was close. Now the news comes nearly a year after a day of action rallies and at one point threats of a strike. Our Jackie Kostek joining us live now in our newsroom this morning. Jackie, what can you tell us about a potential deal here?
The CPS was clear this morning that a tentative agreement has not yet been reached, but leadership from CPS and the Chicago Teachers Union bargained late into the night. CTU leadership says significant progress has been made this week toward reaching a deal. Mayor Brandon Johnson also releasing a statement last night saying in part that the progress is encouraging, but ultimately rank and file educators, the bargaining committee, and the elected delegates will decide whether that deal is suitable. Just last week, the mayor met with negotiating leaders to try to move things ahead. CPS says both parties continue to work on 3 major sticking points, including prep time for elementary school teachers, the teacher evaluation system, and retaining veteran teachers. Mayor Johnson said the potential deal also includes smaller class sizes and librarians in dozens of schools across the city. This progress comes after nearly a year of negotiations. At times, a possible strike was even floated. But the question this morning is still when this deal could be reached. Of course, when it actually is reached, the bargaining leaders have to sign off on it before the rank and file teachers would cast their vote. In the newsroom, Jackie Kostek, CBS News, Chicago.
All right, Jackie, thank you for that update. And we are following 2 serious crashes from overnight. In this one, police say a driver ignored a traffic light, causing a chain reaction crash in the Legend South neighborhood right by Bronzeville. They say a black sedan was driving near 51st and Federal around 11 last night when it hit a black Jeep that was turning. The Jeep then hit another car. 3 people went to the hospital, including a 29-year-old pregnant woman. All are in fair or good condition. Police say there will be citations. And in this crash, a woman has died after the car she was driving hit a tree. Illinois State Police say she was headed south on I-57 right near Halstead around 9 last night when her car went off the road and up the embankment. A passenger was taken to the hospital. And 40 years of the unknown, but now a family out of Elgin has answers to what happened to their loved one. The skeletal remains found this week in that car that was pulled from the Fox River are in fact those of Karen Schepers. The Kane County coroner just confirmed this late last night. Schepers disappeared in 1983. Investigators believe the 23-year-old might have driven into the river after leaving a bar in Carpentersville. A fisherman found what may have been her car in the river a few years ago. Elgin Fire Department divers, though, thought it was an ATV, so they did not investigate any further. The department apologized and promised better communication with police in the future. Now to that breaking news overnight, brand new video here showing the moment a skyscraper collapsed in Bangkok after an earthquake hit Thailand and Myanmar. It was a massive 7.7 magnitude quake. It shook down this high rise that was under construction here. Look at that. Rescue dogs are now at that scene. They're helping to search for around 90 people who are missing right now. At least 3 people have died. Several more have been found alive. And one man was driving right by that skyscraper when the earthquake started. He said at first he thought maybe he'd blown a tire.
We couldn't really understand at the time what was happening. Anyway, I stopped the car and the car was still moving quite a lot. Then I realized immediately it's an earthquake. Nobody was driving orderly. And then suddenly we just seen the collapse of the building right in front of us.
Hundreds of thousands of people ran out of work or school and their homes to evacuate. Many streets are now gridlocked and some transit systems have also been shut down. Now in Myanmar, the earthquake brought down a bridge. Look at this in the country's capital hill. Parts of that bridge simultaneously falling into the water below. The epicenter was actually near Mandalay and was followed by a 6.4 magnitude aftershock. Myanmar's military-run government has declared a state of emergency, but it's not clear what that will do or who will come to help, seeing as a civil war is underway in the area. The entire country has been under a state of emergency since 2021 when the army seized power. And as we keep an eye on your world this morning, Israel has struck Beirut for the first time since November when a ceasefire ended the latest war between Israel and Hezbollah. Now, the limited strike hit Beirut's southern suburbs after Israel issued an evacuation warning for the area. Those suburbs are known as a Hezbollah stronghold. Now, at this time, there's no word of any injuries, but Palestinians in Jerusalem and the West Bank are preparing to celebrate the festive holiday right now of Eid al-Fitr in the West Bank city of Hebron. Markets are full of people, and it's a time to rejoice with family, though, this celebration. It marks the end of Ramadan, a month of fasting and prayer for Muslims. Well, the family of Selena is thanking the Texas Parole Board this morning. The gratitude comes after members of the board denied parole for Selena's killer. Yolanda Saldivar has spent the last 30 years in prison for the shooting death of the Diano singing megastar. Saldivar has always claimed that the shooting was accidental and that she was convicted because it was a high-profile case. In recent months, social media platforms were flooded by fans calling for Saldivar to remain behind bars. Well, the Trump administration continues to face fallout over the leak of military plans on that non-government messaging app Signal. But as Jared Hill reports, this comes as the administration is slashing thousands of jobs from Health and Human Services.
Major changes at the U.S. Health Department.
We're going to streamline HHS.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Thursday announced plans to slash the workforce by about 20,000 people, though not impacting, he says, positions reviewing drugs or medical devices, nor inspectors.
We're keenly focused on paring away excess administrators while increasing the number of scientists and frontline health providers.
The White House continuing to cut the federal workforce as President Donald Trump publicly sticks behind his national security advisor and defense secretary. That's despite growing scrutiny over the leak of military plans on the messaging app Signal. This comes as President Trump has pulled the name of his nominee for ambassador to the United Nations. The president on social media said he wanted New York Rep. Elise Stefanik to stay in the House, noting the GOP's very tight majority.
It just reflects that the agenda that Republicans are trying to move through the House at the behest of Elon Musk and Donald Trump does not have the votes right now.
Meanwhile, today, Vice President J.D. Vance is focused on another Trump priority, Greenland, the second couple visiting the U.S. Space Force facility there, as President Trump says he wants the Danish territory under American control for security reasons.
One way or the other, we're going to get it.
Back at home, the president is directing Vance to oversee a cultural overhaul at the Smithsonian, signing an executive order focused on eliminating, quote, divisive race-centered ideology from the museums, research centers, and the National Zoo. Jared Hill, CBS News.
And President Trump is preparing to unleash a slew of new tariffs next week. This, as new CBS News polling shows, the American outlook on the economy is pretty mixed and steadily growing more pessimistic. The price of food and services remains the top issue for most Americans. Well, President Trump also putting his vice president in charge of the Smithsonian Institution's effort to remove, quote, improper ideology. A new executive order targets funding for programs that he says advance divisive narratives. That includes at museums, education and research centers, and the zoo. Well, corporate sponsors are now pulling out of Pride celebrations across the country, including in St. Louis, where hometown company Anheuser-Busch ended a 30-year partnership there. Now, some sponsors are citing their tight budgets as a reason to end partnerships, but Pride organizers say there's another factor. They claim it's a reaction to President Trump moving away from diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. It's unclear, though, if Anheuser-Busch will remain a top sponsor for Chicago Pride events, as they have since at least 2018. We reached out to Chicago event organizers. They haven't gotten back to us on this issue, but we did look at their website. It doesn't currently show any Anheuser-Busch products. Some organizers from other events and agencies are speaking out about this being really concerning to them.
What I've seen lately is more of a push for local small businesses or even individuals, and having some kind of sponsorship levels that go all the way down to 200 or 500.
When we don't hear back from specific sponsors, it's really too bad that people are very short-sighted. The gay community tends to remember pretty well.
Other cities like San Francisco and Houston say they're also seeing a rollback in corporate sponsors. Well, still ahead, a Chicago company working to teach hope. It's part of a movement to combat a rise in feelings of hopelessness. We have a live interview with the founder coming up in just a bit. And a swing worth $1 million. How some Cub fans are getting a rare chance at a bat that could be worth a lot of money. Well, some lucky Cubs fans are getting to test their batting practice skills at Wrigley Field, and this is a big one. It's for a chance to win $1 million. It's part of the Play for Opening Day contest. It's held by the Cubs and Budweiser. Early this morning, fans redeemed a scratch-off card at Gallagher Way, and the winning fans have 3 chances during batting practice to hit a Budweiser target to win the prize. Now, this is a live look at the batters attempting right now. I'm so curious if anyone's going to win this. The Cubs will host the San Diego Padres a week from today for the first homestand of the season. The Cubs are currently 1-2 after beating the Diamondbacks yesterday, and they play again tonight. Now, the Chicago White Sox, talking Southsiders now, off to a good start, winning their opening game day against the Los Angeles Angels 8-1. Fans tell us they're excited for a new season. They hope the Sox can turn things around. This after the team suffered, I hate to say it out loud, but that record 121 losses last year. The Sox will play the Angels once again tomorrow at the rate 1:10 p.m. For anyone who went out there and got to cheer for 8 home runs, they were like, yeah, we're starting off better.
The crowds were packed too.
Oh yeah, and it was really a good day to be out there. And then basically there was rain chances, but it wasn't too bad.
No, not at all. Like a little sprinkle, a little patter, nothing big. Now this morning was anything but that.
I'm so glad that's gone now.
I know, yeah. So now we get to really enjoy the nice warm up that we've been talking and tracking all week long. We're going to the 70s, close to 80 degrees for highs today. Comes with a lot of wind. It's a little breezy now, but those winds are only going to get stronger. Now we do have a weather alert out on Sunday. We told you about this one earlier in the week. We've been watching this day closely for the risk of severe weather, and we've got all the right ingredients for potentially some strong severe thunderstorms going into the late day on Sunday, and Monday still on alert for the potential for some slushy snow in the morning hours. On the radar, things are a little busy. Let's sort this all out. So we had some early morning showers and thunderstorms. Here's that band that's moved out. Still have a few stray thunderstorms in around Chicago, and then another band farther off toward the west in the Rockford area. That one should be mostly rain out there, moving off toward the east. By the time it gets to Chicago, looking around 11 o'clock-ish or so. And then that one storm that we had across the northern part of Cook County, just north of Evanston, downpour next scan. That'll likely be out of here. Rest of the day, windy, warm, up in the upper 70s 70s, close to 80 degrees. I've got a high today at Chicago O'Hare, 76, 77 Midway, 78 today, Joliet, and 77 McHenry. We'll be a little bit cooler, still mild for both Saturday and Sunday, but unsettled, especially on Sunday, where we do have that level 3 risk for severe weather. Numerous severe weather storms are possible here in this direction. South of Chicago, northwest Indiana, rest of Chicago is under that level 2 risk for some scattered severe thunderstorms. Looking at the timing of the rain tomorrow, just some sporadic showers at times, but the rain coverage will certainly pick up in the late day on Sunday. By 4 o'clock here, we do have some strong severe thunderstorms developing. That'll take us through the evening hours, and then by Monday morning, a transition is expected with some showers mixed in with some wet snow. We're all over the place in the temperature department. 76 today, down to 41 on Monday, but we do recover by the middle part of next week. By Wednesday, more storms and a high of 63 degrees. Let's go to the First Alert Traffic Center. Chris, before my weather report, I took a peek at your graphics. Sounds like things are really interesting out there.
Yeah, it's different. It's a rough Friday morning for livestock on the northbound side of I-65 near Gary. Yes, indeed. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map, and I will show you what Laura and I are talking about. You will see that, okay, after the rain, we got power washed. The Kennedy's all backed up. That's the red there up by where it says Chicago. But look to the lower right down here. We've got 4 miles of stopped traffic on northbound I-65, and here's why. We've got an overturned cattle truck. There's 127 head of cattle that went for a ride. Doesn't sound like anybody got out or was any more than banged up a little bit. So they brought another cattle hauler in there, and they are very carefully taking them out of the rolled over truck, putting them on the serviceable vehicle, and they will get them out of there. So, long story short, it is going to take a long time to do that, and then they still have to pick up the truck. So this is going to be in play for quite a while. Northbound, the 65 ramp to westbound 8094 is blocked till further notice. So that being the case, you can get around it at a bunch of different places to bail out. US 30, before you even get into the delay, you'll see a wall of traffic at 61st Avenue, so a lot of people are getting off right there. Or Ridge Road, people that have just pretty much had enough of just kind of sitting there. So that being the case, everybody's going to go west over the Broadway, then north over to 8094 and west from there. Back on the Illinois side of the line, pretty uneventful. Just the Kennedy's all backed up. It's like that even when it's dry. Chris Habermill, CBS News Chicago.
Chris, we got to see some pictures and videos of these cows. I can't believe that.
We're working on that. Yeah.
Okay.
It just happened. Doesn't sound like any got out. So we'll work on that and see if we can get those for you.
Okay. Sounds good. We have a long day of news ahead of us. We'll see what we can get. Well, next, she started a company that's all about teaching hope as a skill. The founder of the Shine Hope Company joins us live to talk about her mission and how it's now getting global attention. And it's a chance to buy art and actually meet the artist. We're live at the Other Art Fair happening in Ravenswood this weekend, so we're helping you plan out your weekend plans. Well, when we think of the word hope, we often think about a feeling or a state of mind. But One Chicago Company is shifting that conversation around hope, presenting it as a skill, something that can be learned and something that can also be practiced. I cannot wait to hear more about this. We have the founder of the Shine Hope Company, Karen Schepers, here in studio. It's so great to have you here to talk about this.
Thank you. It's amazing to be here. Thanks for having me.
And I learned, by the way, the hope, the color of it is yellow. I did not know that. So I'm glad you're channeling that this morning.
That's right. You're on brand. I appreciate that.
I'm glad you're here to talk about it. So your idea of teaching hope, it's more than just about a strategy. It is a strategy.
Yes.
It's not just a wish. That's what you say, right?
Yes. A lot of people think of hope as a wish, and hope is not just a wish. It's actually a measurable and teachable skill. So I've been studying and created the first global evidence-based program to teach how we hope, how we actually cultivate hope in our lives.
And with it being a skill, is there one short thing that you can tell people about how to even start that?
Yeah, well, SHINE is the mnemonic we use for how we teach hope. So it stands for stress skills, happiness habits, inspired actions, nourishing networks, and how we eliminate challenges, which are negative thinking patterns. But the one thing I say people should always learn is how to identify and manage your stress response, your 90-second stress response. When you get triggered by something, you go into your downstairs brain. You can't think, you can't collaborate, you can't communicate. you can basically destroy everything you hope for in your life if you don't learn how to manage that stress response.
Yeah, and one thing that I know for you starting this company, it was really personal and it was sparked by something personal.
Yes, it was. So I actually had my own suicide attempt in my 20s, and my dad died by suicide when I was 18 years old. I was a freshman in college, and it led to a lot of persistent hopelessness for myself. And looking into, I did a lot of global mental health work and advocacy and wanted to create a suicide prevention program. And looking into the literature, hopelessness came up as the single consistent predictor of suicide and the primary symptom of depression and anxiety. And I thought, why don't I know what this is and how to get to hope? And they were measuring hope, but they weren't actually teaching you how to hope.
It's so true, because you hear that word so often.
Yes,
and
yes.
Before today, I
yes.
had never thought of it as a skill,
Yes.
and something that I could practice and institute in my life.
Yeah, it's amazing that they've been actually measuring hope around the world for a long time. So there's a hope scale on our website. There's a children's hope scale and adult hope scale, 6 questions or 8 questions, and it will tell you so much about how long you live, if you're likely to graduate school, how well you do in sports, how quickly you recover from illness, all kinds of things. And so it's really important that we learn what our score is and how to actually get better at it.
And one of the things that this also is about is hopelessness. Studies show that more and more people are experiencing hopelessness. So what are some of the persistent risk factors or things that people might notice about not being able to manage their feelings leading to this hopelessness?
Yeah, and so my goal is really to normalize our conversation around hopelessness, because the reality is we all experience moments of hopelessness really all the time. When you break down hopelessness, it's 2 things. It's both emotional despair, so you feel sad, angry, afraid, and you feel a sense of helplessness. So there's that powerlessness component, and it's the combination of those 2, the sadness, the emotional despair, and the sense of helplessness. When you combine them, that's what hopelessness really is. And so it's learning how to manage our despair in healthier ways and how to get out of helplessness into inspired actions. And we experience, again, moments of hopelessness all the time. It's just learning how to manage them in healthier ways. You know, a job loss, a move, an illness, all kinds of things. You know, what's happening, there's a lot of things happening right now that are triggering our moments of hopelessness, but it's really how are we managing those moments of hopelessness that matters. And that's where shine comes in, and that's where you have to learn how to shine, and the more challenges you have, the more you have to shine hope.
Okay, and one of the things that we wanted to talk about as well is the International Day of Hope that is on July 12th.
Yes, so excited.
And you're really instrumental in helping this come to life. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm a representative at the UN for the World Federation for Mental Health, and I've been pushing for an International Day of Hope for a long time, where we have one day that we talk about hope, the science of hope, and how we become more hopeful. So around the world, this is the first year ever that we're going to be celebrating this International Day of Hope. Thank you. July 12th. April is also National Hope Month, so we're going to be doing a lot in April. Chicago's become a hopeful city. We need this global movement and momentum around hope.
Oh my goodness. Catherine Getzke, founder of the Shine Hope Company. Thank you for inspiring this and for also being here to share it with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I also want to note that if you're watching it and you're thinking, I have got to learn more about this, you can learn more at about the Shine Hope Company and its mission on the website. It's theshinehopecompany.com. Well, next, a spring break that's all about pursuing higher education. We're going to catch up with a group of high schoolers as they return from a college tour trip, and it was really a first for many of them. So exciting times. We'll tell you about that.
This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning and great to be with you. I'm Adrena Sinclair. It's 9:30. We appreciate you sticking with us here this hour. Ahead this half hour, new speed cameras going live across the city next month, the fines you could face if you're caught, and how to know where those cameras are located. And we got a windy and warm Friday ahead, plus our first alert team tracking showers and storms that they want you to know about in our weekend forecast. Let's turn to Laura for those details. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. It's 67 degrees out in Ottawa. No, not Ottawa, but that warm air is going to be lifting here soon. In the Loop, it's feeling fine. 54, 55, O'Hare and Midway. Low to mid 50s, Northwest Indiana. Mundelein, it's a little bit cooler out there in the upper 40s. On the radar this morning, we've got some showers to the far north and west and a few stragglers too out across parts of LaSalle County. We'll see at least a small storm chance here this morning, not expecting severe weather. Going to a high of 76 degrees, stray thunderstorm, windy, warmer. Some wind gusts could get as high as 40 today, but look at the results, right around 80 here this afternoon. Shower, thunderstorm chances really start to ramp up by the end of the weekend. We'll talk more about that severe storm threat coming up here shortly.
All right, we'll see you soon for that, Laura. Thanks. And we've learned a second person has died from yesterday's early morning crash, the one we told you about near Midway. 31-year-old Rocio Sanchez died after being taken to the hospital in critical condition. Police say that she was in a Ford Fusion that was making a U-turn when it got hit by an oncoming SUV. The driver of the Fusion also died. And talks are underway focused on how to avoid major cuts to Chicago's mass transit system. The Regional Transportation Authority painted a grim picture at yesterday's board meeting. Agency leaders say in order to save current service levels at the CTA, Metra, and Pace, they need $1.5 million from Springfield. Now, without that money, riders could see some big impacts here. First, it's on your screen, 10% regional fare increase, 3,000 jobs cut, 4 of 8 CTA rail lines would stop running, and 50 CTA stations would close. Half of their bus routes would then be eliminated.
This is not a different CTA. This would really be no longer CTA as we know it without the funding that we're talking about.
Metra says they'd face a 40% service reduction. Pace would likely eliminate all service after 8 p.m. and all weekend rides as well. And if they don't get the money from Springfield, the RTA says changes could go into effect as early as next year. Well, some lawmakers have said overtime costs should be examined as a potential way to save money. Others say fare increases may be in order. Some want to get a more exact estimate of how much money is really needed before giving the RTA any money. The transit agency wants lawmakers to vote on funding before the end of the spring legislative session, which is in May. Well, after that tornado in Gary, Indiana last week, some middle school students will be in a different building when they return from spring break. Look at this. This is how bad their school was damaged when that twister ripped off part of the roof of McCullough Academy. So for a full week starting Monday, classes will be at a career center nearby, the Gary Area Career Center. Students who walk to school will be bused from McCullough, their old school, to the new building. And more than 100 public school students in Chicago spent their spring break on a road trip visiting college campuses, many of them for the first time ever. Our Marissa Sulik caught up with them about the experience and what it means to them.
Thank you. After a 4-day tour of colleges, these students are returning to Chicago knowing there's a whole other world outside these city blocks.
Like HBCU college, I'm definitely interested in.
Darius Townsell is a CPS junior who spent this week with 120 other students visiting 6 Midwest colleges, universities, and HBCUs.
We had to because these are my top colleges. Wabash, it's all boys college. It ain't for me, but they definitely have some great things to keep you on track because there ain't no females there.
It was everything. The architecture, yeah, it was nice. Everything was nice.
Kentucky State. It was real fun. I really enjoyed it. There was the food was great too. The food was, oh my God.
Each of these students coming off the bus is with either Youth Guidance is Becoming a Man or the Fellowship Initiative, and it's the first time the two groups have done this trip together. For the last decade, the groups have put on the annual trip to show students opportunities that lie ahead, such as a college degree. Many of them come from underserved communities.
A lot of them was the first time being in a hotel.
First time a lot of them have left Chicago. So it's a great sign of trust from the program, the parents, to let their kids even go on this.
Thank you so much for visiting us.
The students met with admissions teams, learned about different majors, and walked the campus to get a taste of daily life.
It really helps students prepare for their future and prepare to see where life is going to take them.
When I first entered high school, I had no plans for college. I was just thinking, oh, okay, I'll just get my diploma and then just get a job. But here I am now in my junior year, thanks to TFI. And I'm finally dreaming of getting into engineering or law. And I'm finally thinking I can finally go big and make my family proud.
In Bronzeville, Marissa Sulik, CBS News, Chicago.
We'll love to hear those students were so inspired there. Well, local groups right now calling for an end to gun violence in Chicago, and they want to help by providing free gun locks to families. Later today, those groups, Purpose Over Pain and Brave Youth Leaders, will hold a press conference at St. Sabina. They'll have free gun locks available, and they'll also have a gun buyback session going on. The press conference starts at 11 a.m. at the Memorial Wall near 78th and Racine. Well, she was Oak Park's hometown Golden Girl, and now actress Betty White is all of ours forever. This new Forever stamp bears her likeness, including that unforgettable smile there. It's like a smirk. The stamp was unveiled yesterday, but today in Oak Park, there's a special ceremony honoring White. It's open to the public. It's at 11 this morning at the Oak Park Post Office on Lake Street. Betty White was born in Oak Park in 1922. She went on to have a big career in radio, television, and film, spanning almost 7 decades. Well, she was also recognized for animal welfare work. Betty White died on New Year's Eve in 2021. She was just a few days short of her 100th birthday. Well, next, an art fair in Ravenswood this weekend featuring new up-and-coming artists. We got a preview of the other art fair and one of the artists joining us live here on the show. And as President Trump's new auto tariffs are set to begin next week, what could that mean for local businesses?
Well, we've got a windy warm-up here today. Highs going up into the 70s. That'll change by the end of the weekend, tracking a storm threat and then a chance for snow in your first alert forecast.
Welcome back. We're jump-starting your weekend on our Friday here from the Other Art Fair. That's the actual name of it. It's happening in Chicago's Ravenswood neighborhood, and it's a chance for art lovers to discover and buy works directly from the artist. They're actually there on site. This year's event features original works from more than 100 emerging and independent artists, so lots of opportunities to just dig your feet in and see a lot of art there. Joining us now is one of those artists, Anna Marie Tendler. Anna, great to see you. I hear that if people are looking for engagement or family photos or really cool headshots, your booth is the place to be.
It definitely is. I'm back at the Other Art Fair doing my photo booth pop-up. It is based off of my photo series, Rooms in the First House, and my book, Men Have Called Her Crazy. And the photo series and the book have to do with themes of loss and grief and overcoming challenges. And so I really invite people to come sit in the booth, dress up, come as their authentic selves, and honor something, honor themselves, honor a big moment in their lives.
I love this chance to have some creative expression through all types of things that we go through. So it's kind of like a pop-up portrait booth. Can you show us what it looks like or what's going on in there?
Yes, absolutely. So I have built the booth here. And I have a model come sit in, and then I will pose them. So I'm gonna have you cross your legs. Yep. And then put your left hand out and sort of lean over onto it. This is perfect. And just give me like a small closed mouth smile, exactly. And look straight to camera. 1, 2, 3. Now turn your head a little bit this way and look right here with your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Tilt your head a little bit this way, look back to camera. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. And then, thanks. The final images come out like this.
Oh, so I love that you help the posing and all of that, because sometimes that's the hardest part. You can feel a little bit awkward, you know, sitting and trying to pose for a camera.
Oh yeah, totally. It is the most awkward part for people, and people often worry like, oh, I'm not good at taking photos, I'm gonna blink, I'm not gonna look good. You're gonna look good. I know how to make people look good in a photo, so I promise you will love your photo.
And you're returning to the fair this year, right? What made you want to come back again?
I am. You know, I had such a great response when I did this in 2022, and I met such amazing people. And When I came to Chicago on my book tour back in October, I had so many people who came to the event and said, oh, are you coming back to do photographs? I want to get my portrait taken again. And so I've had so many return people, and I'm so thankful to the tour for having me back. It's just a really incredible experience to get to give people one of these photographs.
Yeah, that's awesome. Really quickly before we go, can people sign up for a session? How does that work?
Yes, absolutely. So on the Other Art Fair website, you can sign up for a spot. They're in 5-minute increments. And as you can see, it moves pretty quickly, but you get an amazing photo at the end.
All right, Anna Marie Tendler, I hope you guys have an amazing time. I know we already kicked it off last night. Thank you for joining us. And we do want people to know that the Other Art Fair started yesterday, continues until this Sunday. And it's at the Artifact Events in Ravenswood. So make sure to go on their website to find tickets. They go on sale at noon. Nope, they already are on sale. Now we have another ticket that's going on sale. This one goes on at noon. It's the Summer Smash Festival. The festival runs from June 20th to the 22nd. A 3-day pass costs $370, and you can buy it on the website or through the Dice app. Friday's headliner is Don Tolliver. Saturdays is Future, and Sundays is Young Thug. Sunday night also features a performance by Chicago's own Chance the Rapper. Oh my goodness, Laura, we're talking about Summerfest.
I know.
Summer music lineups. It's kind of starting to come in quickly. And then you're thinking, okay, that one's a couple hundred. That one's, which one do I want to go to?
I know some of these prices, I'm like, oh, $300.
Especially if you want a multi-day pass. I mean, you are getting a lot of music for that time, but you definitely got to budget it in if you want to get a few summer things in.
Yeah, then that's a lot.
The good thing is,
my time is ticking.
The good thing is that Chicago has so many free outdoor concerts as well.
Yes.
So we got the Blues Fest, the Jazz Fest, the House Music Fest. So that's a good option too.
I love it, and it's so close.
Yes, so close. We can taste it, especially with this warmer weather today.
That gives us some hope.
Yes.
And then I'll talk about the other part of the forecast where it's going to snow in a couple of days. It's a wild forecast. We do have the risk for severe weather again. That's going to be developing on Sunday. Monday is that day that we're going to be watching for some early morning snow. Late March, early April, typically don't get any big type of snows, but it's pretty wild when we go to 76 here this afternoon. Early morning thunderstorms, well out of here, but now we are starting to see a couple of showers and some stray thunderstorms trying to bubble out there, especially farther to the south. I was watching this one lonely downpour here out near Blue Island, right near Pullman. A couple more downpours have been sparking just to the south of that out toward Tinley Park. So we do keep at least a small chance for a downpour here this morning. Dry here the afternoon, sunny, warmer. Winds are going to be pretty strong as those winds and those temperatures begin to build out there. Through the overnight hours, clouds will start to increase, but we do stay mild with these warming winds coming in from the southwest and holding on the stronger edge of the scale through the late day today into tonight. So we really don't cool off too much, especially after highs today near 80 degrees. We get closer to 60 for an overnight low. We'll be in the 60s throughout Saturday. 67 degrees. We'll likely hit that high right around the midday hours and then work our way back down through the low 60s for the rest of the day. Scattered showers and then a sharp uptick with those thunderstorms going into Sunday. Storm Prediction Center has a level 3 risk on a scale of 1 to 5 for areas farther to the south. This is going to be the focus for numerous severe thunderstorms on Sunday. Rest of the area, scattered severe storm potential as the day wears on. Let's jog through this quickly. On Saturday, scattered showers, possibly a brief thunderstorm. Look at the coverage here. We still got a lot of dry time expected through the day on Saturday, so it's not going to be a washout type of day. Sunday morning, some showers, some thunderstorms, but those thunderstorm chances will really start to ramp up in the late day going into the evening. Sunday night into Mondays when we have that transition almost with the seasons here as we get a little wet snow in the morning hours. 7-day forecast, 76 today down to 41 for a high on Monday. We go back to the 60s and talk some more thunderstorms by the middle part of next week. All right, let's go over to the First Alert Traffic Center. Chris, do we have an update on this cattle truck that chopped over?
Indeed, we actually, last time up, right at the end of my report, we were talking with Audrina about getting a picture of it. So we aim to please. We're going to head on out to the INDOT traffic camera and see exactly what things look like. Okay, there it is. If you look down underneath there, that's where that truck is actually turned around underneath there as it comes over and then underneath. 8094. So it's kind of a distant shot, but the overturned truck is on its side. It looks like it rolled over onto its right side, and you have to look real close, but at the back end of that truck, there's a whole bunch of cattle that are still out there. 127 head were aboard that truck. They're a little banged up, a little shaken up, but they all survived. One truck actually got in there, took a load. A second truck is on its way up there, but it's stuck in traffic. So let me show you a map here of exactly where all of this is going on. And you can see that huge, angry red line down here. That's now 5 miles of stopped traffic. And somewhere in there is that second cattle taxi that's going to be coming up there. So they're holding those remaining head there in a portable pen in behind some fence sections there, and they're waiting on the second truck. So this is going to be closed for a while. Once they get the other cattle out of there, then they still have to clean things up and upright the truck. So bounce over to Broadway, go to the west off of US 30, 61st Ridge Road, over to 8094 that way. And we will have some more close-up pictures later on in the day. This is what it looks like Illinois side of the line. The core expressways are busy. Anywhere that you might see a hefty delay outside of the Kennedy, it's probably moving pothole patching, as we're kind of doing it under the yellow here in between storms that are going through. Got to get those divots taken care of. Inbound side of the Eisenhower and in and out on the Stevenson. And, of course, the Kennedy is the one that's the worst of all with the ongoing work. O'Hare, we have a ground stop now extended until 10:30 this morning. So delays, cancellations aplenty. Call your airline before you go. Midway's recovering. They don't have a ground stop active at this time. Have a great day. Drive safe. Let's be nice to each other. Chris Habermill, CBS News Chicago.
All right, Chris, and thank you. You working for the people this morning. I know we'll work to get a clear shot, because I was like, wait, what's happening?
Got to look close.
I know, but kudos to those crews out there. That's a pretty difficult situation to get under control, so I'm sure it's going to take a little bit.
Especially when you've got animals that are scared, potentially, they're a little bit banged up. That's not something that they're used to.
Right.
On top of being inside the truck, and then the truck rolls over. So, yeah, they were kind of excited.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Chris, thank you so much. All right, well, we want to give you a heads up here. 16 new speed cameras go live across the city April 1st. So for the first 30 days, if you violate these, you'll receive a warning, but no fine. After that, expect citations. We have a list and maps of the new locations on our website, cbschicago.com. So don't say we didn't warn you on this one. All right, the U.S. could see retaliatory tariffs if President Trump follows through with his latest auto tariffs. We're talking about the 25% tax that would go on all vehicles imported into the country starting April 3rd, next week. So Canada's Prime Minister has responded, saying his country will respond forcefully. Mexico's president says she'll wait until next week to react. Japan's leaders say all options are on the table when it comes to tariffs. And then the EU Commission has also responded, say it's going to wait until next week to decide on a response to this. Locally, though, the Illinois Automobile Dealers Association expects car prices to go up, and local body shops also anticipate the cost of tariffs to trickle down to them. That's because there's also tariffs impacting imported parts that would start on May 3rd. We caught up with one body shop that's been in business for 91 years.
The cost of repair is going to go up, which means the premiums are going to probably start going up for the consumers as well. So obviously it's a snowball effect for all these things.
To put this into perspective for you, President Trump has proposed 20 tariffs in the past 2 months. Only 5 have been enacted. 1 was delayed. 2 others were dropped. The rest we are still waiting on. All right, our competition to find Chicago's official top dog is going on right now. If you're late to the party, you can join us. Many of you voted in the first round of our tournament. It was called the Sport Pepper 16. Now it's down to the Onion 8. Of course, all of these cheesy names are inspired by the ingredients that you find in Chicago style dog. Let's take a look at which places advanced. We got Home Depot here. Their hot dog stand is still in the running. Now they go up against Super Dog. That's tough competition there. The Wiener Circle takes on Donnie V's. Portillo going up against Jimmy's Red Hots, and then Byron's Hot Dogs takes on Happy Dog. Now, if you're late to the party, this is your time to pick who you think should win. Polls are open. Just go to our website at cbschicago.com, and then in the search column, just search Top Dog. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to the show. We have a look at the stories that we're keeping an eye on today. Chicago police say a car ignored a traffic light, and look what happened. A chain reaction crash near Bronzeville. They say a black car was driving near 51st and Federal around 11 last night. It hit a black Jeep. The Jeep then hit another car, and 3 people were taken to the hospital, including a 29-year-old pregnant woman. We're told all are in fair or good condition. Police say they will be issuing citations here. And we've been following these negotiations really closely between CPS and the CTU, and despite Mayor Brandon Johnson's belief a deal is close, in a statement both groups say a tentative negotiation has not been reached, but CTU does say there's been some significant progress over the past week. They're back at the bargaining table again today. And 16 new speed cameras will go into effect in Chicago next week. They're all in children's safety zones, so really, good areas for them to be in to slow people down. But we just want you to know that the city is going to issue warnings for the first 30 days after each camera is activated. No fines, but then later on, speeders will face fines of $35 for going 6 to 10 miles per hour over the speed limit, $100 for speeding more than 11 miles over the limit. We also have a list of all the new locations on our website right now.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I've been doing a little people watching out in Daly Plaza. We've got a mixed bag. We've got short sleeves, still the heavy coats for some people. It's a weird day. We had those thunderstorms earlier. Now we're just transitioning to where it's going to be pretty warm this afternoon. 76 degrees. Keep those umbrellas handy through Saturday, Sunday. Stay alert for the risk of severe weather Sunday afternoon. We'll be seeing some snow in the morning hours on Monday. Never a dull moment here in Chicago. Some more thunderstorms by the middle part of next week.
A little bit of this,
a little bit
of summer, a little bit of spring, a little bit of
We got to keep you guys on your toes
here. We have you guys to just track it all, so it's helpful. All right, thanks for joining us. We're always glad you're here with us at 9 o'clock. Your local news continues all day on the stream. Hope you have a good day and good weekend, too.
Yeah.